Scott would play the point players, and Magic would just match up where the best matchup would be. Sometimes Worthy would be in the backcourt, Magic would be up front. Now, I don't know if they have the luxury to do that at Sacramento, but he still can get big minutes at second guard and small forward, like Doug said, you know, behind Simmons and behind Richmond. And then some nights when second units are on the floor, he can play the point guard position because he's not picking up those beep-beep guys on that first unit at that point spot.
So Walt Williams goes to Sacramento. We're at Portland, Oregon for the 1992 draft. Let's meet Walt Williams, who's with Craig Sager.
Well, thank you, Bob. First of all, we heard Doug and Hubie talking about different aspects of your game, where you could possibly play. You've been studying the roster. You thought possibly you'd go to Sacramento. Where do you fit in, and where do you see yourself playing with the Kings?
Well, I see myself playing any one of the three positions, the point, 2 or 3. So I think that's what attracted the Sacramento Kings, my versatility.
You grew up in Maryland. You went to college in Maryland. The Washington Bullets had expressed an interest. Did you think you were going there? You're disappointed you have to leave home?
No, I'm not disappointed. Like I said earlier, I really didn't have any idea what pick I was going on. I'm very happy to be a Sacramento King.
Okay, congratulations, Bob.
Thanks, Craig. And now coming up next, an interesting selection, I think, and that's the Philadelphia 76ers. As you know, Philadelphia no longer will have Charles Barkley to play with them. As a matter of fact, I don't want to get ahead of myself. Milwaukee will be coming up next. Nevertheless, Philadelphia still will be an interesting pick, as will Milwaukee. Milwaukee was involved in a trade today that we pointed out earlier. I don't know if you were watching right at the top of our program, but the Utah Jazz traded Eric Murdoch, Blue Edwards, and their first pick, the 23rd pick this year, to the Milwaukee Bucks in exchange for Larry Krystkowiak and Jay Humphrey. So let's go to Milwaukee. Let's talk about that just a moment. What does that mean about their selection? Doug, first?
Well, first of all, you know, I talked about how hard Lee Rose and Mike Dunleavy have been working to get a younger team, a quicker, faster team that can compete in the NBA. So you've got a Blue Edwards who's quickness, and Eric Murdoch. They've got to get another multi-dimensional player. I think they're going to go Todd Day. Big-time talent, can play a couple positions. Now you've upgraded 2 positions. You've got younger, quicker, and faster, and I look for them to go with Todd Day here.
Yeah, I back that up. I mean, I think that they've been solid on him. They also like Walt Williams, but, you know, he was picked before. That would be an excellent choice, Day, because they want to pick up the tempo there, get out and play and improve the defense, because last year Milwaukee, one of the most porous teams that we've had in the league. Now, when you have Robertson now with some of the people in the trade, and then you put in there a Todd Day, all of a sudden you have some nice quickness going for you at a number of positions.
So Milwaukee's one of these teams with quite a bit of rebuilding to do, really. They're starting over in a lot of areas.
Well, I think you do it with young players who have talent, who have a chance to be great players. And I think that this young man has the opportunity to be a great NBA player. He's got big skill, 3-point range on his shot.
So the Milwaukee Bucks, who've had some changes, of course. Mike Dunleavy is the new head coach at Milwaukee, going from the Los Angeles Lakers there, and a lot of changes in the front office and the personnel decisions and the kind of team that they're going to try to build with the Bucks. Of course, Hubie was there back in the Costello days, a team that at one time won an NBA championship. Let's find out what the Bucks are going to do. Here's David Stern.
With the 8th pick in the 1992 NBA draft, the Milwaukee Bucks select Todd Day from the University of Arkansas.
Big smile on the face of Todd Day. 6'6 and a half, 190 pounds. Played at Hamilton High School in Memphis, Tennessee. He's 22 years old. Faced some disciplinary problems and some controversy during his senior year at Arkansas. Arkansas with 3 excellent players who could go in the first round. When you get to Oliver and Mayberry and Todd Day, so a very excellent team that he played for there. And a lot of folks think that Todd Day's attitude, a lot of the general managers who interviewed him, of course, because of the controversy of suspensions in college, worried about character and how he would be in the NBA with a tough 80 to 100 game schedule. But a lot of people feel the general managers were reflecting that they liked what they saw in Todd Day when they met him, talked to him in interviews prior to the draft coming here.
Well, he's a finisher. He can do the job for you. Anytime that you, in your college career, score over 20 points a game 61 times, you know this guy can score. He's the all-time Arkansas leading scorer in the history of the school. He can board for you, and then he's a great three-point shooter, and he's a slasher with the basketball. So when you get him the ball in transition, he can finish the play, and he's very, very exciting. Terrific pick from Milwaukee.
was inside game for University of Arkansas. They called it the Mayday tandem there with Mayberry and Todd Day at Arkansas. Doug, your feeling on him as specifically as a player is?
Well, I think he's a great pick again. You know, Milwaukee had a big, slow team. They had to upgrade their speed and quickness. You know, the people they compete against, you're talking about the Chicagos and the Clevelands and those people. They had to get quicker and faster. They have done that, and I like him because I think he can be a star. I think he's going to be a terrific NBA player.
Let's go to Craig now and meet Todd Day.
Well, thank you very much. First of all, in college, several times you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. You're now in the right place at the right time. A new day has dawned. Congratulations.
Well, thanks a lot. It's a tribute to be in Milwaukee. I can't wait to get together with Albert Robinson, a former Arkansas player, and just go out and do the best I can.
After the season, did you feel that you had to maybe refresh your image, maybe tell people that some of the things that were said about you really weren't true?
Well, yeah, it's a lot of rumors going around about some of the things that I did. One mistake makes everybody think, it leads to another. So I'm just happy to be a Milwaukee Buck, and I'm going to go out and do the best I can.
Milwaukee picked up another first-round pick in a trade. Any chance that Lee Mayberry or Oliver Miller, your teammate, may join you up there?
Well, hopefully, maybe we can get 4 in, but hopefully 3. I'm going to sit back. Everybody thinks that I'm still not nervous. I'm still nervous because I love those guys to death, and hopefully, the best will come for them.
I know your mom, Nicolette's back there. She gave you a nice little smack right there in the cheek. She's waiting for you. Back to you, Bob.
So Todd Day goes to Milwaukee. And as I said a moment ago, I as you can tell, can't wait for the Philadelphia selection after they traded Charles Barkley, picked up 3 players from Phoenix. What are they going to do? We'll find out in a moment when we return to the draft of '92. Next up, the Philadelphia 76ers. As you look at the 1992 NBA draft, Shaquille O'Neal, surprising no one, went to Orlando as the very first pick. And Philadelphia traded, as everybody in the basketball world knows by now, Charles Barkley for Lang, Perry, and Hornacek from Phoenix. Philadelphia, a team that really struggled, had all kinds of problems. Barkley wanted out. He's gone now. New day there, new coach, new changes in management. They've got a tough decision here at their 8th pick.
Yeah, I agree. You have Keith from Stanford, a rebounder, big-time stats, points, and rebounding at Stanford and the Pac-10, tough league. But then you have Witherspoon. Now, last year, you got to look at Witherspoon 3 times Player of the Year in his conference. Now, last year at the Pan American Games that I had a chance to be there for the 3 weeks, Witherspoon, Leitner, and Jimmy Jackson were the only guys who could hold their own night in and night out. This is a tough pick for Philly.
Well, Weatherspoon was their guy. Keith slipped. They didn't think he was going to be there. They had to make a major decision here now in a short period of time. I still think they're going to go Weatherspoon because I think he gives them toughness in rebounding, a little more mobility. But who knows, Keith would also be a good pick for them.
It's far too early to compare anybody to Charles Barkley, but he's similar to Barkley in some ways in terms of his size and physical strength inside, and can score on the block down there despite not being really tall.
6'5", 250, a shot blocker. But he can play 2 positions, small forward as well as big forward, because he can put the ball down and hit the shot facing.
All right, let's find out what the 76ers do. Here's David Stern.
With the 9th pick of the 1992 NBA draft, the Philadelphia 76ers select Clarence Weatherspoon from the University of Southern Mississippi.
So Keith slides a little further, the big power forward center from Stanford, and Weatherspoon at Southern Miss played his high school basketball at Motley High School in Crawford, Mississippi. He's 21 years old, 6'5", 252 pounds. And as Hubie told you, he can block shots, he can score inside. Matter of fact, he led the Metro Conference in scoring and in block shots.
Yeah, see, he's a man. And what they're putting together there, Doug Moe loves to get out and pressure you over half court, overplay the defenses, get out and run in the open floor. Well, when you have a player like this, he and Harmon Gilliam at the big forward position. You have Anderson and Curry at the small forward. You now have Lang, Bowl, and maybe Jeff Rulin back at center. In the backcourt, you have Dawkins, Hawkins, and Hornacek. Hey, I want to tell you something. That's a nice basketball team. And then you still have a guy that they're waiting for, Shackelford, who they're playing big money to start developing and come into his own also.
And whom we saw at times could play very well, although he's inconsistent.
Right.
Your feelings about it,
I
Philadelphia?
agree everything with what he said. I like their team. They have definitely improved. They're going to be much better next year. That's not to say anything negative about Charles Barkley, but they have added 4 terrific players to their team. 3 starters. The one knock on Philadelphia last year was really, other than Ron Anderson, they had no one to bring off the bench. You cannot say that. I mean, imagine putting Hornacek, and Hawkins in the backcourt with Ron Anderson on the floor as 3 shooters, maybe with a Lang and a Weatherspoon or a Gilliam, you now have some weapons out there. Philadelphia should be very excited what they have done over the last couple weeks.
3 years in a row, he was Player of the Year in the Metro Conference. Replacing Charles Barkley will be tough, but as you see, he does have an inside game, and Philadelphia will be a new place this year, as will Phoenix. Charles, by the way, is down in La Jolla with the Dream Team and the U.S. Olympic team with Ernie Johnson Jr., and those fellows are down there training. They'll be starting the Tournament of the Americas, qualifying for the Olympic Games here in Portland on Sunday. Now let's go to Craig Sager.
Well, thank you, Bob. So many people have compared you to Charles Barkley, including our analysts. How do you feel going to Philadelphia, where you not only would be compared to him, but you have to step into his shoes?
I'm excited to death to be going up there to Philadelphia. You know, they got some great staffs and stuff, but having a chance to play there and try to fill Barkley's shoes, that's going to be a big challenge for me, but I'm going in there with 110% confident that I could get the job done, and I'm just excited to get there.
Was Charles always your idol?
Yeah, Charles was always my idol. In Philadelphia, always been my team back in the days when Dr. J was there, you know, and all the great players they had when they made their championship run.
Great players like Doug Collins, too. Congratulations.
All right.
Back to you, Bob.
Thanks, Craig. Coming up next now will be the Atlanta Hawks. And the Atlanta Hawks also with a tough choice. The Hawks in need of players at a lot of positions. Obviously, they need some strength inside. They need a shooting guard, even having problems at the point guard position. So what about the Hawks and what kind of thoughts they have to make?
I think they're in a tough spot right now. You know, you look at it right there, we say the strengths are Augman and Willis and then a healthy Dominique. Well, if Augman has to move up front because Dominique is not ready to go for a couple of months at the beginning of the season, well, now you need somebody at that second guard position that can really get the job done. Now, Travis Mays, we realize, missed most of the season last year because of knee surgery. Now, if everyone comes back healthy, fine. But if they don't, do you pass up Minor at this at this position right now? You also have Keith in here. And so I think that they could go a number of ways, but, you know, there's some very interesting people. How about Stith from Virginia at this spot? What do you think, Doug?
Well, I think they're really torn. In talking to some of their people today, I mean, Adam Keefe, you have to look very strongly at him, power forward, rebounder that we've talked about. You know, on the front line, you've got Rasmussen, Koncak, and Willis. They don't have a lot of size. But Harold Miner, does this guy have the opportunity to be a star? 6'5", can get his own shot, create, explosive. And Bryant Stith, who is a very consistent, steady guy who night in and night out is probably going to do it for 8 years. I do not relish the position they're in. It's going to be a very tough call. I think early in the day, it was Adam Keefe. I'm not so sure now. Right now, it's not Harold Miner. They might not know for the next 30 seconds. Tough call.
Sweaty palms down in Atlanta. If, you know, the traditional thinking is if it's a close call, go big. Would you say that fits? They run a lot of passing game in Atlanta, although Bobby Weiss had to go away from it some last year?
Well, here's the way you have to look at this. How many minutes are there going to be behind Willis? There are going to be very few minutes.
That's right.
How many minutes are there at second guard? A bundle.
Right.
Because if Dominique Wilkins does not come back until December or January, you need someone to get that going for you at the season. You move Stacey Augmon up to small forward. Is Volkov going to come back, or is he going to play in Europe next year? Questionable.
Yes.
So now you have to protect yourself at a two-guard position with size and a guy to get the job done. It's a tough call.
Sounds like if you were making the call, you might lean toward the guard there because of their situation with minutes available.
See, I believe that you got to go and put your team on the floor based on quickness and guys that can score for you and get the job done for you defensively. So what? Then when Wilkins comes back, now you have 3 great players because Augmon did have a special rookie season. And then if you can come in, so it's interesting. Or do you go get yourself another big guy? But once again, how many minutes are going to be available behind Willis at big forward?
Let's find out. David Stern, the NBA commissioner, is about ready to make the announcement as the Atlanta Hawks no doubt have been wringing their hands trying to decide what to do. We'll all find out together right now.
With the 10th pick in the 1992 NBA draft, the Atlanta Hawks select Adam Keefe from Stanford University.
So the Hawks went the traditional route, you might say, and picked Adam Keefe. Keefe is 6'8½", 241 pounds, 22 years old, from Stanford University, named to the All Pac-10 team for the 3rd consecutive year. He is not with us here in Portland, but he goes in the 10th position to the Atlanta Hawks, 4th in the nation in rebounding, 11th in scoring, and apparently Atlanta deciding that they need to go to a big man up front to bolster Koncak, Rasmussen, and Adam Keefe. And we always keep reminding you, you don't know what kind of trades teams have in mind as they go through the draft.
Well, anytime that it's draft day, we have no clue about who they have a tentative situation for once this draft is over. Are they going to move a Koncak? Are they going to move a Rasmussen? If they do, well, then that opens up playing time at that spot. I just thought that it was a very tough call for them. And whoever they got at the position, they're going to be happy with the guy.
Adam Keefe from Stanford goes to the Atlanta Hawks. We'll come back with pick number 11 in just a moment. That'll be the Houston Rockets.
Does everyone...
You're looking at Memorial Coliseum in Portland, Oregon, side of the 1992 NBA Draft. Along with Hubie Brown and Doug Collins, this is Bob Neal. Hope you're enjoying the coverage for the first time ever outside of New York City. The draft has been moved to Portland, not only to spread the wealth of the NBA around the United States, but you'd have to admit that the Portland and the great Pacific Northwest, with Seattle, of course, not far away, a real basketball center, and the Tournament of the Americas. The U.S. Olympic Dream Team will qualify for the Olympics in a tournament that starts here in Portland on Sunday. So this is basketball city for the next couple of weeks. Up next, the Houston Rockets. Now, Houston, the 11th pick, as you take a look on your bottom of your screen at the selections that have gone down through here, the 11th picks, they've also got it tough. It gets interesting in here. What does Houston do? They've got a couple of great guards available.
Well, you know, I'm looking at Harold Miner sitting there, and if I'm Houston, I'm thinking, this guy drops to me at 10, and I need a guy that can give me some explosive scoring out there, maybe can swing and play a couple positions. I think the only other possibility would be Bryant Stith, but I would be shocked that Houston would not jump all over Harold Miner right here.
Let me ask you fellas about this. The constant talk about trading Hakeem Olajuwon. We don't know where that is, but that has to come into play somewhere in the Houston thinking with the draft right now. Hubie?
Yeah, but they have like 11 or 13 teams talking with them, so how do we know who would be in the equation? And most important, we really have no idea if it's just not a lot of smoke, whether Charlie Thomas would pull the trigger on a trade like that. All I know is that this pick for them is tough. They need perimeter shooting at that 3 position. They are not happy at that position, and they're also not happy with the sporadic shooting at their 2-guard position.
Correct.
So they could go with a Stith or a Miner who can play both positions for you. Both players could play up front like they did in college and board for you, as well as give you the perimeter game. And then they can also play second guard because both of them are such outstanding athletes. So do they then say, no, we really don't want that. What we want is a guy like Malik Sealy at St. John's, Tracy Murray, 3-point shooter, perimeter game. Why? Because you have Olajuwon and Thorpe posting up for you. So that gives you another 3-point guy. So they could go that way, and with strictly small forward types of players.
Houston Rockets are up next, and let's find out from David Stern.
With the 11th pick in the 1992 NBA Draft, the Houston Rockets select Robert Horry from University of Alabama.
Time for the curveball.
Oh, boy.
Robert Horry is from the University of Alabama, is here with us in Portland. He's 6'8", 215 pounds, 21 years old, from Andalusia, Alabama. Second-team All-SEC. He was named to the coach's All-SEC defensive team. Big shot blocker. He even set a school record at Alabama, breaking Leon Douglas' mark with 121 blocks. So this is a player who can play some defense for you, and that's where Houston chose to go. And Miner and Stith dropped down, and this frankly surprises me a bit.
It's surprising. You know, Robert Horry is an excellent small forward, as you talked about. Excellent 3-point shooter, rangy, athletic, does all the things. He's a very good pick. You know, we talked to all these other guys. He's a very, very good pick. I'm just surprised that Harold Miner is still on the board at this point in time. It looked to me like Houston has said, we're going to go to our needs. We're going to draft a small forward that we can put out on the floor that can help us at that position, as Hubie had talked about a while ago.
Well, no question, the deepest part of this draft has been the forward positions, combining the small and the big forward. And there's a look at Robert Horry.
See, this guy is a 3-point shooter that would rather play small forward. He and his previous coach, Wimp Sanderson, got in arguments because they wanted to play him with his back to the basket. He feels that he is a perimeter player. But then you also have the fact that he's such an outstanding shot blocker to go with Olajuwon and Thorpe in that type of a position. Now, this is a guy that a lot of teams are interested in because of the fact that they feel that he's that long, rangy type of small forward.
Robert Horry goes to the Houston Rockets in the 11th pick of the draft, and he's with Craig Sager now.
Thank you, Bob. First of all, Robert, the anticipation of the draft, your reaction to going to Houston at number 11.
Man, it's a great feeling having the chance to go to Houston, and hopefully Hakeem won't leave and I have a chance to play with him. But if he do leave, I have a great feeling. I'll be happy to play with Maxwell, one of the SEC boys, and Otis Thorpe. So it'll just be a great feeling to go to Houston.
And Buck Johnson.
Yeah, and Buck, old hometown boy, yeah, going there, we be battling. So hopefully he'll give me some tips and make me a lot better.
You're one of only 2 players in SEC history to block over 100 shots in a season. Everybody knows who the other one is, Shaquille O'Neal. You feel you're overlooked?
No, I don't feel I'm overlooked because Shaquille is the best player in the country right now, and I'm just happy to be able to come in there and block as many shots as he has, and be recognized in the SEC books as a great shot blocker as he is.
Well, congratulations. Good luck in Houston. Bob?
So Robert Horry from the University of Alabama goes to the Houston Rockets. Up next will be Miami. The Miami Heat, one of the most improved teams in the expansion teams, the most improved, making the playoffs this year for the first time in their young history. And this is another team that's making its way into competitiveness, into contenders status in the National Basketball Association. Miami won 38 games last year. Very athletic, attractive team to watch. We saw them in one of our opening TNT telecasts against Boston down there at the beginning of the year. And from the beginning of that game, you could see that they were going to be exciting. And obviously, Kevin Lockery and the group did a good job developing the team. They need power forward, point guard, backup center, yet you've got these 2 guys we keep talking about who are available, Stiff and Minor.
What about Adam Keefe?
Adam Keefe is...
I mean, you talk about a power forward. I mean...
No, he went to Atlanta.
Oh, excuse me. You're right. I got ahead of myself.
I thought you knew of a trade there for
okay.
just...
Yeah. Stiff and Sealy are the guys that they had talked about. And
Malik Sealy from St. John's.
Sealy and also Harold Miner. So,
yeah, what do you think there, Hubie?
Well, I think they've always gone with the best athlete, the type of a guy that is an explosion type of a player. With the versatility of Rice, that he can play second guard as well as small forward, that gives them some freedom, along with Smith, that he can now play second guard or point guard. So they could go a number of ways here right now, and they're going to get a great player right here.
They've been talking some trade also. They're one of those 13 teams interested in Hakeem Olajuwon. And when they talk about that, they talk about Cycli and even Smith going. They're an excellent point guard from Michigan State. So we don't know, but it's a situation that certainly could develop in Miami that they'd be interested in a trade too. All of these things come to bear when they're making the draft decisions. We always like to remind you that a lot of times trades can be made during the draft time, and one team will draft for the other team, and they'll swap those after they get the players. The announcement doesn't get made. The trade doesn't become official until the second player is drafted. So whenever you look along and you see a real surprising choice for a team, always put up a red flag and say, may they be trading that? I remember when you were coaching at Chicago with Olden Polynice and Horace Grant drafting and then swapping players.
Scottie Pippen.
And Scottie Pippen.
Absolutely.
There was a lot of changes went on there, and the way you drafted and the way you made trades. So that's always a possibility here as we wait for the Miami Heat to make their selection, a team that won 38 games last year. So we see Stiff, we see Malik Sealy. Horry is gone, surprising some folks going to Houston. And, of course, the excellent guard Harold Miner from Southern Cal. A lot of people talk about Harold Miner being such an explosive player that some teams worry a little bit about him because he could be an out-of-control player. But I always think Isaiah Thomas is sometimes out of control. I'd take him 10 times out of 10.
Well, I hope so. Okay, I hope
you.
so. But, there's another guy in the equation which has been mentioned for them, and that's Murray from UCLA, because they are a big three-point shooting team, Miami. So, they have nice ways to go here right now. And when you think of what they have done in their short period of time, making the playoffs, and then the way that they've done it, and they've stayed with it. They're not going out making crazy trades and bringing in older players and things of that nature. Billy Cunningham and Louis Chaffel, they've hung in there and hung tight with their philosophy. and they're going to get another good player right here.
I thought it was interesting that Miami made the playoffs this year, the first expansion team out of those 4 to get there, and they went the slow route, so to speak, by going with young players. You recall that Charlotte went with a lot more veteran players, and some folks thought the Hornets might get to the playoffs sooner. Hornets have made a lot of personnel moves and trades and are now becoming a very good team too. But as Hubie said, the Miami Heat is built through the draft and through young players, and now the question will be, what are they going to do coming up next? We're in Portland, Oregon here. We're about ready for the 12th pick in the 1992 draft. Shaquille O'Neal, in case you joined us late, went to the Orlando Magic as the #1 pick. Alonzo Mourning went to Charlotte. It's Christian Laettner to Minnesota, Jimmy Jackson to Dallas, and LaFonso Ellis went to Denver. Gugliotta went to Washington. Walt Williams went to Sacramento. Day to Milwaukee. Witherspoon to Philadelphia. Keefe to Atlanta. Horry to Houston. And now let's find out about Miami. Here is David Stern.
With the 12th pick in the 1992 NBA draft, the Miami Heat selects Harold Miner from the University of Southern California.
Harold Miner, who's with us here in Portland at the Coliseum with his family and friends. Went to high school in Inglewood, California. Of course, that's the municipality where the Forum and the Lakers play is located. 21 years old, 6'3½", 222 pounds. First Trojan since Gus Williams back in 1975 to be a consensus first-team All-American, Pac-10 Player of the Year, named Sports Illustrated's Player of the Year. This is an explosive, exciting player who will be a tough defensive assignment for whoever has to handle it.
Well, I just think that he can get his shot anytime. He can go to where he wants to go. And the big asset for him, he averaged 7 rebounds a game. He was all Big Ten 3 straight years and 3 years playing there. This guy is a primetime player. Now, the flexibility, when you think of Smith, Michigan State can play the point. You have a Miner who can play 2 or 3. You have Rice who can play 2 or 3. A lot of pressure on Burton now to get his game together at that backup smallwood for position. They really now have added a tremendous talent.
Yeah, I don't believe that Miami thought there was any way that they were going to get Harold Miner in this draft. This is they have just added another guy that fits in so nicely to their team. And what it also gives you is it gives you great trade possibilities too now, Hubie, that if you put a package together maybe to get even a missing piece of the puzzle. So this, I like him because, as you talked about, this guy has a chance to be a star. And I think that when you think about NBA players, when you get a guy that can be a star, you've got a great find.
See, he can hit the 3. He can get to wherever he wants to go. He can post for you inside, and he can rebound as a guard. So you can slice him and post him. A terrific pick by Miami.
Craig Sager, let's find out how Harold Miner feels about being sliced when he gets into the pros. Harold Miner with Craig.
Well, thank you, Bob. First of all, Bob Neal mentioned that you're the first USC consensus All-American since Gus Williams. Our graphic said only the 2nd player in Pac-10 history to score over 2,000 points in 3 years. Lou Alcindor the other. What do these names mean to you?
Well, those guys are great players. You know, I've studied those guys for, you know, countless hours, and I mean, hopefully one day I can amount to, you know, to what they've done.
We saw your mom in the background. I talked to you shortly after the riots in LA. She lives near Florence and Normandy. Now that you're in a position to help her and the people in that area financially, what are your plans?
Well, I'm just going to try to help out as much as I possibly can. I mean, I grew up in the South Central area, the Inglewood area of California, and I just want to do whatever I can to help those people because that's my home.
What about the Miami Heat?
Well, those guys are, you know, they're a great bunch of guys. They have Steve Smith down there, and you know, they have Ronnie Cycli. They have some great talent, and I'm just happy to be joining the Miami Heat.
It's a great pick from Miami, a great place for you to be. Bob?
The 12th pick in the draft. Harold Miner from Southern Cal goes to Miami. In a moment, Denver with their 2nd pick in the 1st round coming up right after this.